Hey, Ghost Machine fans, this one's for you.
Welcome to the Ghost Machine Fans Podcast, episode 115. It's time for a team up. Zachary Halo, Tommy Townsend, and Rose Hornsby are about to join forces as Ghost Machine's first summer crossover continues. Has Tommy found his first two unbelievables? I'm Snoggle, and I'm excited to find out tonight. What about you, Nick?
I'm feeling unbelievable. I'm ready to go back into this fantastic new world, and this issue is my favorite since even the two preludes and stuff so far. I'm liking seeing the worlds collide. So very excited to be here to talk about it with you.
Go team.
But before we do that, we need to shout out a friend of ours who we have mentioned long ago. I think it's been well over a year since we talked about Sarkis. But of late, Sarkis Comics is the handle that you want to go take a look at on the interwebs. And that's Sarkis and the word comics, plural. That's the Instagram handle. You'll find him on some other platforms too. And he does a lot of fun stuff in the comic book community out there. I believe he's in the California area near a lot of really cool shops. And recently he did a couple of great collabs with us. He did one that was him sporting some new $1 trillion kid Ghost Machine gear from threadless.com. And he also had some Hyde Street videos, and he had a red coat variant cover post. So really cool. A lot of activity from Sarkis lately in the world of Ghost Machine. Make sure to check out his content too if you like all comics of all kinds.
Sarkis! It's like circus, but cooler.
Yeah, I think one of his chat rooms it has that might have that in that. Yeah. But enough about our friends on the internet, even this one who's not a stranger, because Becky is back in the newsroom.
Ghost Machine has announced their San Diego Comic-Con signing schedule and exclusives. This is pretty sweet. So from Thursday, July 23rd through Saturday, July 25th, which side note, we'll be there too. Don't worry, Ghost Machine fans. Jason Fabok, Jeff Johns, Lamont Magee, Maytal Zahoot, and Danny Mickey will all be doing signings. Also, there will be an exclusive Ashcan limited to 186 copies, a very specific number, as well as a 2026 Rook Exodus Deluxe Edition hardcover dust jacket limited to 100 copies.
You want to get those, it's going to be hard. Those are quite limited runs in the world of comic books.
Oh, 100%, especially at San Diego Comic Con.
For sure.
I'm assuming it's going to be pretty busy. And 186.
Yep, and those are the ash cans. Remember, those are usually smaller. Mm-hmm. And then that's a dust jacket for the hardcover of the deluxe edition of Rook. And we didn't mention it, but just for friendly reminder, they've also got a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Funko Pop Geiger or whatever.
Oh, which is super cool. While reading this news, I realized that Rook Exodus Deluxe could be a tongue twister if you have to say it fast.
But yeah, excited about these exclusives and excited about all these signings. If you're going to San Diego Comic-Con, they're signing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if I recall the graphic correctly. And speaking of which, if you want to see that, you can go to our Instagram, Ghost Machine Fans, and you'll see that post from a couple of days ago, along with the picture of the Geiger and some pictures of those goodies, if you want to see what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking about San Diego Comic-Con today, nor are we talking about the world of Rook Exodus. We're talking about The Unbelievables, which was once the Family Odysseys. I feel like eventually people are going to forget that because this is hitting so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And the book that we're talking about today is the second part of that. When we had Peter Snaberg on the show, he mentioned how Hornsby and Halo 14 was the next one coming out. And it is part 2 of the crossover. The 4th issue related to it that we've seen because of the 2 preludes. But part 2 is really getting us into the meat of these character interactions and these cross worlds.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
But before we do that, we need to take a gander at the 4 fine covers that were available to you for Hornsby and Halo number 14.
The first cover, Peter Snaberg, John Cleese, Tommy with a Band-Aid jacket. And I gotta say, I think Tommy is gonna bring back the Band-Aid look. Nellie.
Oh, like Nellie?
Nellie kept it cool for quite some time. Now we need oversized Band-Aids.
Well, there's a consistent Band-Aid theme. He really leans into it. Like in this comic, he has Band-Aid shaped drones and stuff. Yeah, it's like, what do you call it? Letter jacket style jacket, but it's got a Band-Aid on the back.
And it's bomber-esque too. It's just cool. It's a cool jacket.
Cool guy jacket. And then you've got Zach and Rose in the background, but facing Tommy because Tommy's got his back to us and looking at us from the side. That B cover was a banger, though. Man, that's a cover by Yvonne Hayes, the connecting cover.
Mm-hmm.
It's got lots of different characters from the different universes there. It looks like some dead tones on the right. And then there's
that pumpkin.
I know. And there's a bipedal puppy dog fella who's looks like he's like a mail carrier of some kind.
Yeah.
I want to learn about that. And Cupid and a lady that looks like she's from Dia de los Muertos.
Oh my gosh, it's a terrier carrier.
A terrier carrier. Oh my gosh. If that's really what it is, that's on another level. Like, cause then it's just like, yeah, we just needed it to rhyme. And it was perfect.
I love it.
That's Yvonne and Danny and Brad. And there was a really cool Francis Portela C cover there. Did you see that?
Yeah, the one front is Rose, back is Zach.
Yes, it's like those negative space covers that we have seen him do for other stuff. And it does look really cool. The glow of their fire and his angelic stuff really pops against that.
Yeah.
And those are Brad's colors. Francis does the pencils and the inks, but Brad still does those colors.
My favorite, though, is probably the Steve cover. I like them all. I think they were all very great. But I like, looks like a concept drawing of this Medusa person who I think is in the band, right? Yep, singer. The Dead Tones.
I do believe she is the singer in the band. Looks like her name is tentatively Medi, M-E-D-I, because you can see Francis's little like sketched name for her from 12/28 of 2025. That's kind of neat. And the detail that I like the most about this character is that she is blindfolded because it's Medusa's gaze that turns you to stone. And that's kind of cool irony, right? Because she's the front person for the band. So she's who everyone is looking at, but she can't look at them. Well, so I thought that was interesting. And it's stylistically super cool.
Yeah. XOXO.
And that one is the 1 for 20 retailer incentive variant. So similar to the one of the character study of Tommy, and they're both, retailer incentive variants. And so those are the 4 covers available to you when you go to your local comic book shop and pick up your copy, which makes this the official spoiler pause for Hornsby and Halo 14.
Creator roll call.
Oh, you're ready.
I'm ready. We got our Peters as the creators. Peter J. Tomasi, Peter Snaberg. Our color artist is John Cleese. Our king of letters, the man who really has got his hands in every single Ghost Machine comic book. Rob Lee, our designer, Steve Blackwell, and our editor, Brian Cunningham.
All right, we've made it. We're here. We're ready to rock. Now we have to remember what happened recently. This is nice because we just read $1 Trillion Kid #1 last week. So this is fitting. We can do this in concurrence. And if I recall, didn't Tommy just set out on a trek across the country and he told the public it was to go out, make things fun and everything. But in reality, it's because he needs to find unbelievable people because he thinks they can lead him to his family.
That's true. It's actually called the Hope and Fun Wonderland Tour. Thank you. And as we can see from the first page of this comic, it is filled with money and delight. But it's Tommy money. So really, is it just trash?
Yeah, that makes you wonder because I thought that the $10,000 Tommy bills were like an artistic choice made on those covers that we saw. I think it was like a Gary Frank cover. And in this case, there's actually like Tommy bills floating around that people are grabbing. So they must be of some value. Maybe they can spend them in his place or something. I don't know. But who are the two characters that we see right away in the world of Tommy Townsend?
Of course, it's Rose and Zach.
Yep. And they're look like in a crowd of people that are all grabbing the dollars. And ironically, Rose is very pessimistic or suspicious of it. And she resents him because she says that what he's doing will actually spread greed. And that's an interesting interpretation because typically in situations like where there are looters, it's because of that. So she has a pretty good point, but he is like lighten up. It's not every day you get to meet a trillionaire, and he's just kind of got a positive attitude about it or whatever. But what did you think of her being so suspicious of him? Because she doesn't seem jealous. She seems suspicious.
I think that has to do with her upbringing. I mean, she works with her parents and their nonprofit, Do Good for the World place. So I think most people are usually somewhat suspicious of trillionaires.
Or they were when there was one.
Womp womp. Like you gotta kind of have a side eye at someone who has that much money.
Sure.
I think that's super fair.
And to your point, he's showing his upbringing a tad by enjoying the fact that there's free money, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's a parallel there.
Yeah.
But this 2-page spread from Mr. Snayberg, as soon as we turn the page, it's pretty. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed his art a lot in this book. And you really get like the full scope of what he's driving into these towns with.
He's like Aladdin, but with Band-Aids.
Prince Tommy, fabulous. Yeah. He has nonstick Band-Aids or whatever. But you're right.
Or whatever.
He's got multiple parts of his caravan. Like he basically looks like a traveling circus, traveling carnival or whatever, and like that kind of thing. But there's little stuff because he's got this holographic band out front, and Rose says that holographic band's taking away a lot of musician jobs, and Zach tells her to lighten up. But I mean, that is something that would be like, why do you have holographic musicians? Like, why don't you have musicians? Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But I'm just saying, like, there's a point to that, and I think even though we believe that Tommy has honest intent or good intent, and we know he has good intent, there are aspects of it that may be detrimental in light of what $1 trillion kid thinks is cool.
Yeah.
But he's with Sterling up top because we're starting with Zach and Rose's perspective, and then we go up to Sterling's perspective, who's looking down at Zach and Rose, trying to do something very interesting to them.
I mean, first of all, pretty cool that it's all cover up, right? He just wants to find the unbelievables. And so his robot's scanning the crowd as a robot would, right?
And it comes across them and it says, and Sterling says, registering a 93.9% facial match along with a vibrational effect from two subjects in the crowd to recently acquired Brick Bottom video footage. As we recall, Tommy paid Rick for that video footage. So clearly they're there, but there's an aura about them that makes identity confirmation difficult for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that's pretty neat.
I agree.
But if I were them, I'd be like, well, we're 93.9%. Sure. So we can go with it.
I love that during the face recognition thing, you see this little thing of Zach having that oversized shirt on.
The one that he got hit with in the face. Yeah, that is funny. It shows he's just laid back, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And though they do indicate that he didn't realize they were kids before, because Sterling says they're probably between 13 and 15. And he's like, they're kids too. And that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
As
they didn't really know the ins and outs of it. But even though seeing the video, like obviously sees the video and maybe just only saw like the super unbelievable parts.
Yeah, maybe.
I wonder what Band-Aid candy is like, by the way.
Well, that's the thing. So like you get some actual, I like the Sterling and Tommy talking about how to find Rose and Zach type of thing, because when he goes back to his parade, he does stuff like ride a jetpack and tell everybody every day should be candy day. And I feel like every time he says stuff like that.
I mean, it's a kid thing, but it does kind of feel like trillionaire out of touch as well.
Well, I was thinking it's like foreshadowing to the fact that I would think eventually there's going to be some learning experience that he goes through or something. Because sure, go around the country and do this fun stuff, but like every day shouldn't be candy day. It'd be more like, anyway, I don't need to explain that. But you could just see his enthusiasm is not dulled by his ignorance, but his ignorance and naivete is present.
I do like the bottom panel, though, where Rose says that's one shiny and happy kid. And because really Zach is constantly probably the sadder of those two individuals, or he's trying to be. Like, Zach can see it. Like, oh yeah, he's super happy. No, he's not happy.
Well, I don't think she thinks he's hiding something too, because people who usually try that hard are. And I like that, because that's a good example of, like, even if you take that down to the micro level of somebody who in a social situation who fabricates as much as they can for their own comfort. Yeah. It's kind of like that. But it's also an analogy for the fact that the two of them are a good example of having to hide something. And that's why Zach says they're trying the hardest. I did like once they got back to their super helicopter home base or whatever, that you see Sterling try to recommend that Tommy sleep for an hour.
He's like, maybe you should get some rest. It's very much like Alfred trying to tell Bruce Wayne to sleep.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's like on one of the times where he's just so exhausted from like a massive Arkham breakout or whatever. That's a great way to go, Snoggle. And he's like, fine, but they just want to wait a few minutes because he's got two drones following these kids and he wants to see where they go. So he has a beat on their residences, presumably.
And they are Band-Aid shaped.
Band-Aid shaped drones. Nothing if not consistent. But then we do have to have our patented Hornsby and Halo family comparison scenes, which is what we get in the next 4 pages or so. But I thought it was interesting how when Tommy is observing through like the drone, the high vertical drones or whatever, so he sees Rose and her parents putting together, a leave a book, take a book back, like box or whatever. I've seen those. Those are cool. And they're making a kindness bench. So they're doing like super nice, kind things They do it
Mhm.
themselves by hand. They do it as a family. And then when they're done, they put their hands in all the paint and they put that all over the bench. And she looks like she is totally into all of it. Rose,
Yeah.
there's
So
no,
cute.
and it's cool because like, and it's, you get to see Peter's writing emphasize like where her head's at. Cause she seems to be truly into doing this. It's not like she's being held her feet, no pun intended, to the fire and she's got to do it. And Tommy watches it and says, now that's a family who loves being together, just like mine used to. And you see
Yeah.
Sterling's hand on his shoulder.
It's
Like,
seriously so sad.
I want to know who Sterling is, man. Like,
I
you see that on his
know.
shoulder? Like, he had to either there's something more to Sterling or Tommy programmed a robot to be like that. And I think there's something more to Sterling.
Or maybe like Sterling's.
Junkyard Joe? Yep.
I'm so sorry. No, I don't actually think that.
I don't either.
I think maybe Sterling, he like used part of the programming for it to be like someone in his family, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that uncle we haven't really met yet.
Yeah. What did you think about the Zach scene by comparison?
So what's interesting is it was going to be miserable, but I will say this is the first time I've seen Zach's parents like truly working. I guess we've never seen them actually like cleaning up bodies and getting them ready for the grave. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's super gross, but I guess, yeah, you would think that anything like that he would have to do, but it is a highly skilled thing. So they must know how to do it, although I bet they cut a lot of corners and do terrible things. I just thought it was hilarious that he's like washing the corpse's hair and he has a toupee that they weren't aware of that then
But the toupee
flies
fell
off
That was really funny.
and hits the mom in the face.
Yeah. No, I thought that was hysterical.
Well, and here's the thing, as they enter adolescence, right? Or really into the teenage years and they go through what they're going to go through. I could see I could see Rose's environment being one where she gets closer to her parents. And I could see Zach's environment being one where he gets farther and farther away from them for various reasons.
Yeah. Still very sad. I mean, this one wasn't, I will say this is like the least sad I've been when the family comparisons. Like at least his parents were having to do some dirty work there.
Yeah.
But I think the beginning of this book really showed us how some of their opinions that they formed are really telling for the lives that they're living,
For sure. And even Sterling, like, for whatever reason, like the drone that they had observing was able to see that too. And even Sterling is like, there's a family who isn't making any memories worth remembering. So he has personality.
Oh, that's a sad and accurate analogy.
So we get something we've had before a little bit, but it's different this time, unless I'm somehow not remembering something. The two of them wake up at night again, but this time it's just glowing red eyes, glowing blue eyes, and they seem to be able to communicate like telepathically. Did they always have that? That's not happened before.
I don't think that's happened before. I genuinely, maybe something was unlocked like in the cave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Or, I mean, I'm cool with it. It's very clear what's happening.
Yeah.
So I don't mind by any means. I was just surprised that they had that type of a connection when they're like of different types or or whatever, different realms.
Agreed.
But luckily Tommy's he like kept his drones there. Now he's on the move and now he goes to follow them and they end up like they're saying that they ended up at some place where they were just pulled towards it. Now that's a common Hornsby and Halo theme. They just get pulled towards stuff.
And he's like, well, maybe like we're actually the magnets, which I think is an interesting way of looking at it. Like, why does trouble always find us type situation, right? Or maybe they're pulled towards trouble.
You would think with how significant they are, they probably will always be able to sense weird stuff, or weird stuff will want to try to bring them near or keep them away. So I get that. And ultimately, she says that they smell like sulfur, and because they're thinking that might be demons. I mean, they're just talking.
It's that weird hole that they knew, like, oh, this is bad. Right?
From a while back.
Yeah.
Where the biker demons came out of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like an open portal or whatever.
My question is it only a hell portal? Or you think like all celestial beings could come through that? My question is do you think it is a hell only portal? Or is this like a just kind of loose, like a break in the veil where either sides can come through that, either type of celestial beings,
I think if we go back, it was all demons, and I think it's that, but it's weird because it's been there a while, but when they go in there, because Sterling and Tommy show up, they've been following them with the drones, so when they go in there, they see this unbelievable word written on the wall that Tommy knows was left by his parents, and it's like, well, does that mean his parents were there like a year ago when the bikers came? Or has this cave always been like this crazy cave? Like, there's a lot of questions.
You said there's a lot of questions. It's almost like it's a little unbelievable.
It just says unbelievable on the wall, and you can't see it. Like, it's red lettering, but it looks like it's carved or whatever.
Kind of creepy.
I didn't realize it was the same cave that we as readers had seen before until Sterling gets thrown out by Hellfire. And there's a great Rob Lee slam that makes me think of a big robot clinking and throwing its legs up in the air the way that he was hit. But Tommy's conclusion after he sees the two demons come forth is that that's what the kids must have turned into.
Must have been.
But these demons seem like very whatever. Like, they're just very, like, they say devour meat and bone, and that's pretty much it. So they're not sophisticated. So I think that it's just like an open gateway to hell that stuff can go in and out of. They attack Sterling, and then Tommy flies away, and then Rose and Zach transform, presumably of their own volition now. Like, we do get a sense that they're gaining more and more control over their abilities, and they certainly like working together.
Yeah.
They're even like communicating and coordinating as the fight goes along. They're
friends now.
The demons start to say things a little more specific, like the cracks of hell are widening. You sense it, my infernal princess, don't you? As she's dragging one of the demons up, and away.
My infernal princess. That's what I will be referred to moving forward.
I'll give it to you. And Sterling tries to restrain Zach, which doesn't go well for him, which I thought as a comic book nerd, I was like, okay. So Zach's strength rating on his trading card is higher than Sterling's, even though Sterling is a very powerful robot.
Even though Sterling is a very powerful robot.
And ironically, Rose flying while burning, like she's flying through the air on fire, has to save Tommy. Why?
Stop squirming. I might drop you.
Because his jetpack quit.
Yeah.
I don't think we see why it's because of the demons messing with him. Yeah, the demon messing with him.
Messed with it.
Yeah. And then he just starts plummeting to the ground. But so Rose saves them. They defeat the demons. Sterling's there. And then we get an interlude between Tommy, Sterling, Rose, and Zach. Crossover City, man.
That is pretty cool. I like it. One thing I'm going to say is the different text bubbles and colors are very pleasing to me.
Like how Zach and Rose have different ones and Sterling. Yeah, that's a lot. That's 4 different text bubble styles on one page.
And even like Sterling's has kind of like computer, circuits. They're like computer circuit bubbles.
They tie them together.
Yeah, the lines and everything. I think
Yeah, I
that's
thought that
actually
was
pretty
cool. Yeah, that is pretty cool for sure. And so even Zach looks calm, Rose looks enraged, and Sterling looks like a robot, which is apt. But
Mhm.
they talk here for a minute because she did save him, but then he explains, well, they're basically telling Tommy those were demons. And they're trying to say that they were trying to stop them, even though they're a devil and an angel. And it's just a lot of back and forth confusion. He says, I didn't come here to hurt you and Zachary. And that's Tommy talking to Rose and Zach. I came here looking for answers, but you're just my first stop. I didn't know what I'd find here. And then he explains what the unbelievables are, what he believes that they are. He's trying to find about why people who find the unbelievables disappear without a trace. The word I saw written inside the cave wall. Did you see it?
I mean, that part to me, I will say he goes into the cave and it says unbelievables. I'm like,
For sure. That's what they're going for. And Rose is like, you still didn't answer what unbelievables are, though. And he's basically an easy way of saying it is, I think you guys are. But then he's able to have Tommy play a hologram file that shows other strange occurrences, especially the video at the
he
town
and
fair.
Shirley played the hologram file.
So then he has Sterling play the hologram file that shows like recordings of them and various other things, strange occurrences.
When Rose says the unbelievables makes us sound like a circus act, then they're shown a circus act, but in like a magical way. You know what I mean?
For sure. You know, it evolves the more and more he talks about his parents and the files that were left there. Or they're like, how can they help you? And then he asks this so crazy telling question on this really great panel that Peter has, which is, are my parents in heaven or hell? And but that question doesn't just ask that question. That question says, I believe my parents are dead.
Yeah. Sad. I mean, if I'm him, I'd assume my parents were dead. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know enough about what he knows and doesn't know, but sure.
Yeah.
But they're like, we don't know, but we know somebody who can help. And then they blindfold him and open up a portal. Like they're leveling up a lot in between issues. They're getting, obviously they're starting to understand stuff. He's got like a sword and it's got the fiery thing, and they use that together to open up this portal that they're going to take him to this place, and it's purgatory.
Yeah.
And apparently humans can't even look in purgatory because it'll make them go nuts. So that's why they blindfold them.
Well, how about they have figured out that they can combine their powers to go there?
Yeah, there's a lot. They must be hanging out a lot on the side.
Hanging out a lot on the side.
And by that, I mean on the side of the comics. Because but I mean, I don't mind it because I get it. I get what they're doing. And this is the meatier stuff, I am cool with that. And they end up in purgatory where there's like lots of souls floating around. And there's like one guy that greets them and mentions he seems to have missed them on their passing visit with the adjudicator, and they let Tommy talk to him. I like how he says, may I ask why Thomas Townsend III, a human who is obviously not dead, is here at the shore I take great care of guarding. And he says, how do you know my name? And he's like, come now, really? Let's move on.
One, I think that's amazing because I'm kind of with him there. Like, seriously, you're in purgatory and you're questioning how I would know who you are.
Oh, I thought it was funny because he asked the question, I need to know my parents and sister, are they in heaven or hell? So he's saying right then, I think they're all dead. And I do like how he says that heaven keeps perfect records. Hell is a bit disorganized, keeping creative ones. But before he tells him, he like almost touches him, and he warns him not to do that because it'll turn him into a pile of salt, which reminded me of like there's a biblical reference of turning somebody, I think, into like a pillar of salt or something.
Yeah.
And ultimately, though, he tells them his parents and sister are not in heaven and they are not in hell. I know not of their location. So that implies they're also not in purgatory. And that means Tommy thinks that his family is alive and he is ecstatic about it. And I can tell you that was a moment for me when I was like, yeah, I like this comic book. I like that that happened that way.
What a joyous moment. And those dead souls are just like, we're trapped in between.
See you later, guys. And when they get back, though, we learn a little bit more about the power dynamics that I guess are evolving for Zach and Rose, because they're both like, man, that really kicked my butt. It feels like I ran a marathon. They're really tired and their transformations are fading.
Mm-hmm.
But then out of nowhere, Sterling can look behind him and zap somebody with his eyes because he does a really cool Rob Lee Frazza with those eye beams, and it hits a drone in the sky that is not Band-Aid shaped with a KOOM explosion.
Right before he does that, he eloquently says, "That's wonderful news, Tommy, as is you returning from purgatory alive."
Yeah.
Like, I think it's pretty cool. He's like, he sensed it was a variant, like it had a different surveillance energy signature. And both Rose and Zach are like spies. Like, you see the anger on their face. Bad.
But they assume it's one of their own drones. And he's like, why'd you blast one of your own drones? And that's when they're like, it wasn't one of ours. It's somebody else.
There are traitors in our midst.
But I thought it was cool. They get a home base. They get like an HQ, because a couple of days later, they all get back together and go to Townsend Storage, which is like something that's got a danger closed off sign. And it kind of looks like just an above ground storage facility or greenhouse or very basic type of thing. But then it has a cool bunker inside of it that's got computers and beds and arcade games. But they get in their bunker and he tells them it's all yours. And she's like, why give it to us? And he says, because you're going to need it to get away from the world when it pushes in tight. And because you helped me start this search for my parents and the rest of the unbelievables with hope instead of dread.
That's really nice of him.
The Hope and Fun Wonderland tour takes on a whole new meaning. And our heroes have an headquarters.
And now our adventure continues together.
And they get there, and they're interrupting a Rockefeller's birthday party. Do we know whose birthday it is?
No.
That's a cool little detail.
They got the hats on.
And so the Rockefellers come to the door, and he says, hi, everybody. I'm Tommy Townsend III. I'm looking for a family from the future.
Hands ready to shake.
I really like the dead tones. I think it's a cover that Peter did. It's a preview for issue 15. It's a couple of pages later. It says Zach and Rose meet the dead tones.
Yeah, it's cool.
Hornsby and Halo 15. So actually, that'll be after the crossover ends. We're going to continue to get to see these new characters. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's neat.
And that's why it's showdown time for the $1 Trillion Kid in his second issue out in July. So you got to read that after the Rockefellers 13, because that wraps up the crossover. Really enjoyed that issue of Hornsby and Halo.
Same.
But before we wrap up this episode of the Ghost Machine Fans podcast, we have a fantastic mail. And this one's very special. Snoggle, this time we got an actual fantastic mail, meaning like in the mail, from a mail carrier that could have been a terrier. And this one is from Alan Murphy, who has been a fan of the show and a supporter of the show for a long time. And he sent a package that has many things in it, one of which is a card. I shall read that to you. To Nick, Snoggle, and Bruce, greetings from Detroit. I was so excited reading Geiger 23 and seeing Geiger and Northerner visit Detroit and our famous skyscraper, the Penobscot Building. And an even bigger surprise, seeing Nick immortalized on the back page profile. I hope a couple gifts help celebrate your comic book debut. Unless you have an earlier first appearance. No, I do not. Thank you so much for the podcast and growing a comic community. And I'm happy the creators have noticed your efforts too. Congrats on 100 plus episodes. Enjoy your summer and hope our favorite series keeps thrilling us. Thanks, Alan Murphy. And in this package, there is a Detroit magnet. There are multiple Detroit, Michigan postcards. There's a bunch of really sweet stuff from a place called the Vault of Midnight. Comic books and stuff is what it says on the business card. They've got 3 locations in Michigan, and these stickers were super cool. But they also included a print of the Penobscot Building from Geiger 23. If you remember, that's where the Department of Historical Preservation is, the office that the Northerner and Tariq go to. And so that was a really nice thing for Alan to do. What do you think of that, Snoggle?
I recall seeing it on our table and being very excited about it. So it's very cool, very thoughtful. It's nice to be appreciated. And just, thoughtful is the word.
Definitely. And I'll tell you, we've had a lot of fun, fantastic mails come over, and we appreciate them all. But we've been doing this a little over 2 years now, and I will tell you that all the amazing people and friendships we have made, like people like Alan, are just as important and valuable to us as being able to talk to the amazing creators at Ghost Machine that we all know and love. So seriously, this from the bottom of our heart, Alan, that is so cool. You brought a tear to my eye, and it will always make us remember that comic book and how special it was to our family, and most importantly, like you said, our community. So keep on rocking and rolling out there up in the mitten, brother. We appreciate you. And if you would like to check out all of our other content, you can do so by visiting www.ghostmachinefans.com, where you'll find our social media platforms, our wiki, and if you'd like to join the conversation on Discord, you can find the invite on our profile on Instagram under Ghost Machine Fans, or in the announcements on the Ghost Machine Comics Reddit.
And thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Ghost Machine Fans Podcast.
Incredible autographs coming at San Diego Comic-Con Podcast.